Yeah.
Right, hold on. I'm excited. Go and get comfy, man. You've caught me on the spot by saying who's introducing first. I didn't know. I wasn't prepared, man. Hello.
Welcome to the...
No, wait. Hey, I'm introducing, motherfucker. Pipe down. As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, welcome to episode 5 of the Reelgood podcast. I myself am Nick Stanleyforth and I'm joined by the wondrous bearded gentleman before me, that is...
Kei Derek. Hello.
So we're both here. Apparently there was some bowl over the weekend of the supersized variety. Couldn't tell you who was in it. The Nebraska Alpacas versus the Washington Dangers.
Dixie Horns.
Dixie Horns. I fucking know. You got some on your beard. It's gone there. But anyway, there's been trailers, lots of them. That's the only reason we watch it, really. I say watch it. I need to stay up. I need to stay up. The routine of a UK person, if anyone knows this shit, is that they wait in the morning and that after everything's been announced, there's just a slew of trailers, which is what we got.
We basically just watch them as they appear on our Facebook feeds.
Yeah.
Or if you're that way inclined, you actually Google them.
Yeah. Because apparently Google's a thing.
Yeah.
Didn't know about that.
Google it.
A whole host of trailers turned up. One consistent thing I've seen is there's a lot of sci-fi.
Yeah.
Just a hell of a lot of sci-fi. With a drizzle of Vin Diesel and The Rock in there.
Still a lot of action though.
Yeah.
Like action-y, whether it's space action or vehicular action.
Yeah. But you're not. I think you're always going to get a high volume of loud noises and explosions in between the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
with
because
the trailers.
that's the audience.
Yeah.
Let's face it. So these guys are all shit-faced and
Yeah.
raring to go.
I think we were winning, and then Vin Diesel turned up as a tree. I can't remember. But yeah, we'll go through it because we've got a list of what we've picked out that you've picked out that you got your eye that caught your eye.
Yeah.
But we'll go through the ones that are quite close. Because we're going to give some honourable mentions to some of them, because some of them we're just not that fussed, but they are worth the watch, or we're looking forward to.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to read them out. You tell me if you're excited or not. Excited, not excited, yeah?
Yeah.
Without thinking, just no fucking, don't pause, no hesitation. John Wick,
Excited.
Logan,
Excited.
Baywatch.
Not
No,
excited.
you can't.
Not excited.
Not excited at all.
No.
Oh, right.
I've never seen Baywatch at all.
Ever?
Yeah, ever.
You are. Not even like on a Friends episode, like in the little.
Oh yeah, I've seen clips of Baywatch, and I've probably seen more parodies of Baywatch than
Yeah.
I've seen actual Baywatch.
You just know it's slow motion and boobs.
That's what I've seen.
And David Hasselhoff and his intense chest hair.
Yeah.
Yeah? You're not missing much, but yeah, that's alright. We're going to go to the major stuff. Oh, Transformers.
Not excited.
Not excited. Okay. It's Michael Bay's last film.
I mean, that's exciting.
That's exciting. The act itself is just, yay!
What's really upsetting is I love Transformers. I will watch it. But
Yeah.
we won't go to the cinema to see it.
I think the biggest test will be to see if I come out of it and don't have tinnitus.
Yeah.
Like the last film. What? But yeah. So those are the ones that are just going to get our honourable mentions because we go right to the big boys. First of which that you got your eye was Ghost in the Shell. Now my knowledge of it is very limited of it because I just know of the anime. I've never seen it myself. It's on Netflix and it's on my watch list, so I might have to watch it before the film comes out. I've written down Please Don't Be Lucy, like the other Scarlett Johansson film that was good but wasn't great. But what's your thoughts on it? Are you excited for it so far?
I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for it because it's a franchise that I absolutely love, and seeing it, it looks gorgeous. Like
Right.
It looks like a really beautiful film. Not talking about Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
We all know she's attractive.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, fair enough. That's the rest of the film looks great. The Neo Tokyo, that sort of kind of noir futuristic city, looks absolutely spot on. The characters are looking really interesting, and the thing that really got me excited is there's a scene in the trailer where they're fighting, where the Major is.
So the Major Scarlett Johansson's character.
Yeah. So the Major is her character. I think they're going to stick to referring to her as mainly the Major, because rather than her Japanese name.
Right.
probably because it'll appeal better to American audiences.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's a scene where she's invisible and she's fighting this guy surrounded by water, and it's a great scene in the anime. And from the clips in the trailer, looks very, very good. Like, there's a lot of like water sort of being thrown around, bullets being shot in all the directions. Really interesting cinematography, and if they pull it off, it'll be really, really good. There are bits where I'm like, don't know if that's gonna look as good,
Right.
but you know, I'm really excited for it.
See, my only concern, because I don't know the film from Adam, like I know of its like importance in anime and just
massively.
general cinema and animation, everything. But my only concern is one thing that obviously was caused a massive uproar was the fact that they cast Scarlett Johansson in the lead role.
Yeah, and I understand that.
No, I think even the creators eventually gone, look, just calm your tits a bit. It's only a film, like.
Well, the creator of the anime has said, I'm absolutely loving seeing like she's great.
Right,
I
that's
love
good.
seeing, like I don't, you know, whether he's just saying that because he doesn't want to badmouth his baby. But he's out and said, you know, I'm really positive about everything that I've seen so far. Like, I'm really enjoying watching.
Because the thing is, you can have a perfect comparison is Watchmen, in the sense that was a film that was so tied to adapting it by the book, pardon the pun, and then had like Alan Moore go, I'm never going to see this film because it's my baby and you fucked it up royally.
Yeah.
Now I hopefully won't have that case, but my other concern is the fact that it's directed by Rupert Sanders, and the only film he's really notable for previously was Snow White and the Huntsman, which wasn't that good.
No. I mean, that is a concern.
Yeah, because it's not the most credible director. Like, she's obviously, we know she's capable of
she's
of
an
great
established
roles.
actor.
Yeah, fully. So with her name on it, that's what's going to draw you in. It's just trailers are there to sell you. That's the main objective. So we'll have to see what the film is. I mean, we'll hopefully by the time it comes out, I'll have seen the original as well and be able to compare it. But I'm all right with it. Like, looks all right.
And one thing I would like to mention is that people are obviously, with the controversy of casting her a white woman as an Asian character, is actually not that controversial, considering that most anime and that style was heavily westernized.
Yeah, exactly.
It was designed to be very Americanized, so it's not a bad choice from that sense. Yeah. But like, they could have picked a million actors. Yeah. It's just some people are sort of saying, have they picked her just so people will come see it? And that's upsetting. Like, we'd like to want people to. Well,
already we've had an example of Michael Fassbender in Assassin's Creed. Like, I was absolutely buzzing for that film, and then it came out, and I was just like, this is just shit. But fingers crossed for that. That comes out March 31st, so yes, not far away. What else is on your list, dude?
So next on the list is Pirates of the Caribbean, just because we haven't seen anything for quite a while now. When was the last one? 2000.
I think it was about 2 years ago. The trailer.
2 years ago. What, for
so.
Stranger Tides?
I think so. Might have been. Oh no, it might have been more.
I think it was quite a while ago. Anyway, so it's quite a long gap. Anyway, we didn't even know if we were going to see a return to this franchise until sort of the rumours came out. Looks quite dark. Yeah. Looks very gritty. You know, it could be a slightly better. You know, it could be a better return.
What's got you interested so far? Can we point out as well, anything I discovered, a little fact for you. So it's called Dead Men Tell No Tales in the US, and here it's Salazar's of Revenge, which is the name of Javier Bardem's character.
Yeah, because that is Salazar is the character that you are introduced to in the trailer. Yeah. You actually see very little of Jack Sparrow. Yeah.
I think it's only the final frame when he's like covered in mud, isn't he?
Yep. And I think maybe it will be. I don't know if that's going to be sort of foreshadowing of the film, that there will be a search for Jack Sparrow and this quest to find him. Right. How's he pissed off this guy? Interesting. I'm interested because I've loved the Pirates of the Caribbean films in the past. You know,
now,
they didn't.
At what point did you lose it?
I didn't lose it, but I wouldn't. I stopped rating them as highly. Yeah. I will quite happily sit down and watch them. Right. I have a family tradition. Every year we watch Pirates. Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean films, or you know, one of the big box sets, and we quite enjoy it. Like, I will happily sit down and watch them. I quite like this. The music, the scores are all very good. Like,
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer, and because it's directed by Jerry Bruckheimer, isn't it?
No, producer. This is another point that's got me interested, purely because the directors of this are two. I think they're Swedish. No, sorry, Norwegian. I'm going to butcher their names. Joachim Renning and Espen Sandberg, who previously did a film called Kon-Tiki, which was a massive sea-based, like, true story film about these explorers. And even the trailer itself looked amazing. Like, it was weird. It was on my watch list ages ago, after they got announced to sign up for it, and I think I've not had time to squeeze it in. But that's got me excited for them to do it, because I mean the original sort of founding guy behind it, who you know, kept the franchise going as far as it could go before I think even he thought was like, nah, that's enough, is Gore Verbinski, who coincidentally, we'll talk about that. Yeah, he's on Cure for Wellness, which we'll talk about in a bit. So he directed the first three. Then he went to someone else. I can't even remember the last director, because I've not even seen Strange Ties.
No.
Like, I'm missing out, or
there are bits where it's funny and it's got a lot of charisma, but a lot of that's from the characters that we know.
Yeah.
With Jack Sparrow and the other ensemble, I can't remember any of the names, but they are. It's more the fact that it's those characters than anything else.
Right.
It's kind of, oh, let's see what antics they're getting up to.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a nice film. There's some interesting sets, and it is quite a interesting sort of thought and concept.
Right.
But there are definitely those funny moments. There are those kind of battle scenes and the fights, and it still has quite a good score, and it's a good film. I wouldn't say that it's the best film, but it's watchable. It's entirely, like, I wouldn't complain about sitting down to watch it.
Because I mean, the one thing I'm excited about. So we've got these two directors. We've also got Javier Bardem as the villain.
Great.
As Salazar. Now he looks like it's weird. He looks like a merging of like Barbossa's skeletal crew and Davy Jones's like. So it's weird.
It's odd.
They look an odd bunch.
There's bits of them missing. Not there. Not fallen off, but not
literally
there.
Missing.
Like,
with the Birdlands, I was like, "Where's his leg?" Like, it looked really odd.
Yeah,
it looks gorgeous. Like, that was one thing that stood out. I mean, we were talking yesterday. The shot where they're running across the water and there's a shot underneath and it looks like it's frozen because they're just running.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Their feet are splashing and
it looked
great.
Wicked.
So if the cinematography holds true throughout the film, it'll be a nice film to watch.
Yeah.
If the characters are up there as well, then you know it could actually be quite a return to form.
Well, that's another thing. The characters coming back, because it's fully confirmed now because he was in the trailer that Orlando Bloom's back as Will Turner. Now he looks like he's got a bit of crust on his face,
which means that he must have abandoned.
Well, you
something.
don't maybe, or because he looked alright when we saw him at the end of At World's End, in like the post-credit scene. But he's back. Jeffrey Rush is back as Barbossa, looking so weird as like a well-dressed, like established soldier. But he looks even weirder. He looks like a panto villain. He's got like really blue eyes, and he looks like he's been shot with Homer's makeup gun.
And I think Jeffrey Rush is fantastic.
Jeffrey Rush is wicked.
You know, that's the way he was going at the end of. So all throughout Stranger Tides, that's kind of his character.
Yeah.
He's now a privateer,
right?
And he's very much on that pomp and ceremony of the King's Court.
He's got a very well-pruned beard.
Yeah, and it's all very funny because there is like the repartee between Jack Sparrow and him of like, you're a pirate. It's like,
accept it.
Privateer. It's kind of that, and it's interesting to see where he's using it to his own ends, and so it'll be interesting to see where he is now and what he's doing.
Do you
Probably
think
lost even more limbs?
Well, do you think now they've got Jeffrey Rush was Jeffrey Rush in the last one? Yeah. Right. So you've got Jeffrey Rush back, you've got Orlando Bloom back. Do you think they looked at the previous film on Stranger Tides and was like, turns out, because originally you saw the first trilogy of films because of Johnny Depp. Then they tried to do a film with just Johnny Depp and it didn't do so well. So do you think now with this one, they're going to go, look, let's just fucking call it as it is. He's not as good as he used to be. Because interestingly, last year he was the most. I think he was up there as the highest paid but lowest grossing actor of the year because money was being thrown at him and the results were pretty bad. So do you think they're pulling them all together because they've sort of accepted that it turns out it wasn't a solo piece, it was an ensemble piece?
I think so, but he is an integral part, but of a greater team. And I think it's one of those.
It's not the captain; it's the crew.
And I think it needs all those different charismas. It's a medley, and that's what was great about it. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing, because he's I think it's probably one of his strongest most consistent performances, and that's just because he just plays a kind of strange drunkard. And that works for him. Fine, let him crack on. That's who he apparently is.
If it ain't broke.
So no, I'm sort of a bit more excited about this than I was about the previous one. Yeah. But we'll have to see where it goes, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Next up on the list, we are going to go with. Well, what else have you got? Have you got any others that are on your radar where you've got? Besides the obvious ones, because we'll get to Guardians and shit.
No, I think that was they were the two that were my kind of these look a bit interesting.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's all the ones that we've been talking about forever anyway.
Cool. Can I take the helm with three more then?
Yeah.
Right. So my first one, which I was quite I think we'll go with four because you saw another one. But the first one that caught my eye, and it was at the front of, because I went to see Trainspotting 2 again on Friday, and the trailer for Cure for Wellness was on. And they showed a Super Bowl spot this weekend as well.
Yeah.
Now, you didn't even know about this, did you, until you watched it this morning?
Nope.
For those that don't know, so going back to Pirate, so this is directed by Gore Verbinski, who dealt with the first three films. This is now looks very Shutter Island.
Yeah. So that's the vibe I got from the trailer. It was ooh.
So what's going on around these doors? Yeah. So the film sees Dane DeHaan. I'm butchering his name as well, please. I'm really sorry. I'll get.
If you're watching this, sorry.
If you're watching this, Dane, soz mate. But yeah,
also hook us up.
Yeah, exactly. He turns up at this residence. We'll say it looks like where people go if they want to get better. It doesn't look to be a hospital. It looks like a clinic. I don't know. It just doesn't look.
Kind of an alternative treatment centre.
Yeah. But with
maybe,
alternative methods. Yeah. And it looks like he turns up to clear up some business of a recent resident who's disappeared, gets there, and all of obviously is not what it seems. It looks creepy as fuck, which is what I can't wait for, particularly because Gore Verbinski has always had an eye for not supernatural, but there's been certain films where it's Pirates, for example, that whole the skeletal crew and stuff like that. They looked good, and there's some very weird, unsettling visuals in this film that have got me interested. It's also annoying as well because he was actually the first choice to do a Bioshock film. So watching that and seeing this and going, oh, that's a what if. Even some of there's shots of people in tanks and water tanks and people
looking
going
a bit steampunky.
Yeah, and it's just just make a good video game film. Come on, Gore. But yeah, it looks really good. I'm really excited for this. This actually comes out this month.
Really?
February the 24th.
Wow, they've kind of. Well, not that my radar's particularly good, but they've snuck that one into my radar.
Well, that's another thing. I always think for films that films that do sneak in, that always gets your alert raised a bit more. Also, Cloverfield Lane
and it also means that they're not, because there's nothing worse than hype disappointment.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, maybe if I hadn't heard so much about it, I wouldn't have been as disappointed.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, so far, there's other films, we'll get to Guardians and stuff. The less I see of this film, particularly, the better. Yeah. I want to go in completely fresh. I don't know a lot about this film, as you can tell by my plot description just then, but I'm excited for this now. So it could be a surprise.
And it looks spooky and interesting. It looks like there's always something a bit spooky about that kind of medical, and it looks set, so it's almost got a noir edge to it because it's set.
Is it 20s? It looks 20s.
It looks older, so there's always something a bit creepy about that kind of
era.
That era on its own.
Yeah.
So then you add kind of maybe supernatural or weird things into it. You know.
Well, it was just like leeches and stuff, and like old medical practices where you're like, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, like NHS aren't doing that shit. But yeah, really excited for that. Another one, again continuing the sci-fi element, is Life from Daniel Espinosa, who's not really done a lot of films. His most notable one was Safe House with Denzel Washington and Ryan Reynolds, who is teaming up with again here with Jake Gyllenhaal and Rebecca Ferguson from Mission Impossible. Now, straight away, I got an alien element to it, i.e., this crew are on this space station and they pick up what looks to be the first sign of alien life, and it's a small single-celled test tube-looking thing that doesn't look too threatening.
And Houston, we know how that goes.
Houston, we have a fucking problem. So by the looks of things, crew turn on one another. It could be a case of potential infection. Who's got it? Who hasn't?
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this.
Kind of like a Thing vibe.
Yeah. One thing I'm excited for is the fact that this is probably the first film Ryan Reynolds has done where he looks to be on the same level as another A-lister. And by that I mean, for example, Safe House. So he was very much the support. I don't know. Have you seen it?
No.
So he was an FBI agent. Like,
maybe I have seen it.
Having to go on a run with Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington was top bill, and Ryan Reynolds was second fiddle. Now, the fact that he's in it with Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't mean they're sharing the top spot, because if it does, then obviously Deadpool's finally done what he should have, what every other film he's done previously should have done, and he's elevated.
Gone, yeah.
Fair play to him. But I'm really excited for this.
I am as well.
Because didn't know a lot about it, haven't seen much of what it's got to show.
Do you know when this is going to release as well?
March 24th, so we've got a bit of wait for this, but not too far away.
Hopefully there's not too much more. Like, I'd hate to be kind of seeing those, you know when you start seeing those negative reviews or these spoilers, and it's just like, just let me watch the film.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
I
want to enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd like to see a film and not know what's going to happen.
I'd really like this to be a stellar performance from Jake, Ryan, Denzel. Like, I'd love to see all of them be great characters.
Yeah.
Because it would be so disappointing to watch it and be like, your performance was great, but
yours was better.
Or yours wasn't.
Yeah.
Like that good.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be.
No,
promising.
Really look, and I'm loving the fact that there's so many sci-fi films out at the moment. I can't get enough of aliens and space.
I think it's because our planet's so fucked. We need to look elsewhere instead.
Yeah. Look what else can kill you out
there. Yeah. You can get off. You think you can get off the planet, but there's still shit going down. Speaking of space travel, we're going to go for the next big hitter, which is undeniably like highly anticipated film this year, which is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Part Deuce. Again, the less I see of this, the better.
Yeah. I just want all the funny characters, great soundtrack, space nonsense.
Yeah.
Done.
Groot.
Baby Groot.
Groot being Groot.
Yeah. Well, they've obviously introduced extra members of the Guardians.
Yeah.
So is it Mantis?
Pom Clementif is playing Mantis, as you were saying. Sorry. And also we've got Michael Rooker back as Yondu, who looks to be part of the team, because obviously there was a whole bit of welcome to the Guardians of the freaking Galaxy. Wicked line.
And we've got Nebula back. So
yes.
Nebula's in it.
So what side is she on?
Yeah, we don't know, because obviously she was Thanos. She was supporting Thanos previously.
She was a bit pissed off with her sister.
Yeah.
But so far, again, everything that's on show, yes. Give it to me now.
And more Groot and Rocket.
I love the shot of, and it was in the previous trailer and in this for a split second, the reversal of Rocket going a full rotation shot with Groot on his shoulder rather than the way around. I was just like, this is great, can't wait. Rocket with a full rocket on his back. He can now fly. One thing I'm really excited about as well, and I think he was the surprise of the first film and looks to be quite prominent in this one, is Dave Bautista as Drax. He was so good in the first one.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah.
You were like, oh yeah, alright, fine.
Play this as stone-like as possible and it will pay off, and it did in millions. It was great, it was wicked. And even the first trailer where he's like, she's just shared your deepest, darkest secret. I was like, this is fucking brilliant. I can't, it's so good. I think one thing that this has that the Avengers doesn't is you're looking forward to see these characters interact with one another again.
Yeah.
Because I think the issue with Age of Ultron and Civil War to an extent is you enjoy them fighting together but not chatting together. Like with Age of Ultron, one of the best elements was them all sat around at the party and trying to lift Thor's hammer.
Yeah,
and
then Vision just picks it up.
Vision's like, we must go. But like the great banter in the first one for Guardians looks to be echoing in the second one, and now you've got Michael Rooker looking to be part of it. Because from what I've read of the plot, so it looks like the Ravagers are a bit concerned that Yondu's gone a bit too easy on Quill, and as a result they might turn on him. So it looks like he will be joining them as a permanent member. He was a member in the original comic books as well. Yeah. One great thing I'm looking forward to as well is Kurt Russell as Ego, who's a planet, but he's a human. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but yeah, he plays Star-Lord's dad. Also, one thing I can't wait to see where he fits into it is Sylvester Stallone turns up somewhere in this. Did you know about this?
No.
Yeah. I was going down the cast list. I was like, yes, he's still in it. Yeah, somewhere Stallone's in it. Tango and Cash together again. But yeah, looks really good, and that's going to be sold. Fast and Furious 8, yes. Now you've not seen any since Tokyo Drift.
No.
Which is a shame because as soon as The Rock turned up, shit got real.
Yeah.
And this looks fucking mental.
Do you know what? I don't think this is one of these films where it doesn't really need a plot.
No.
And if there's no plot, we probably won't notice.
No.
There's a fucking submarine. What?
Yeah.
What?
Well, this is it, right? I was watching it and I thought, right, so Dom's got to turn on. Don't turn your back on family, but Dom obviously does. Under the command of Charlize Theron as Cypher, and so they all team up to take Dom down. Obviously, Dom's the baddest of the bat out of all of them. Three things that I'm excited for. Jason Statham turns up in it again, joining the team. Now, he was the villain in the last one and absolutely battered a bunch of people, so it'll be great to see him and The Rock team up, even though they don't like each other.
Yep.
Chalk and cheese, but with just giant muscles and bald heads and battering each other, which I can't wait to see. Charlize Theron is the villain. Somehow she gets a submarine. Are they on eBay? I don't fucking... what?
And how do they get all those cars into the middle of the fucking ice fields anyway?
Yeah, we will find out. And they will have a solid explanation for it. Also, Helen Mirren turns up somewhere inside it. And I'm not even kidding. Helen Mirren's in Fast and Furious 8. You've got me sold. It looks wicked. Stupid, brain not necessary fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Bit of dust. Can't wait for that.
You watch it in the trailer and you go, I'm really pumped and I don't know why.
I could just drive a car.
Run for a bit. Probably not. I'll just
in fact, just shake angrily. But yeah, it looks wicked. And then the icing on the cake of the Super Bowl was the trailer for Stranger Things Season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, my lord.
And
can't wait.
That combined with the adorable reaction of the cast.
Yeah.
To
just losing their minds.
Video.
That's us. You're like, yeah, didn't you see yourself last time? Where do you think this was filmed?
Have you not been in this? Or you're not allowed to watch it because you're not old enough?
Yeah. There's a bit of swearing and somebody gets eaten. You can't watch this. Bob gets taken from a pool. Look away, children. It looks brilliant. So it's a year later, set a year later after the first season. 11, thankfully, is still somewhere, but it's definitely the Upside Down. All the kids are back, and it looks like that layer of Upside Down is slowly starting to merge again.
It looks like we're going to see more of that.
Yeah.
More prevalent.
Yeah.
It looks
more
fucking
gorgeous for starters.
apocalyptic.
Yeah. There was that lovely Lovecraftian view of when he opened the door and there was just that multi-tentacled giant behemoth thing just chilling in the background. That was sold as soon as the first season finished. Just sign me up. Whatever they do now, I'm on board. Cool elements so far. Sean Austin of Samwise Gamgee and Mikey from the Goonies is turning up. Bit of an 80s nod. Yeah. He plays Winona Ryder's new love interest.
Oh, okay.
We've also got Paul Reiser, who was the snivelling lawyer type in Aliens, who tried to fuck over Ripley. He turns up in it. He works for the energy company, and all the original cast are back. Looked wicked. Can't wait. Another. The less of I see this, the better.
Yeah.
So we have to wait for that. Comes out on Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween.
So we'll binge watch that.
That's a long time away.
No man, fuck. But yeah, can't wait.
No. Can't wait at all.
And then going off from the Super Bowl, Netflix were like, "Oh no, just wait. There's more." Dropped what looks to be a wicked trailer for Iron Fist.
Oh yeah.
Now we both agreed. You didn't finish it. I did, but we both agreed Luke Cage wasn't as good. He's slowed the pace down a bit so far from what we've seen of Iron Fist. So we've got Finn Jones, who was Loras Tyrell in Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Who was the last team blown to smithereens in the Citadel. He's
Well,
managed to put himself back together.
Yep.
In this as Danny Rand, who's
however many years on an island.
yeah, he's a billionaire who thought to be dead, comes back, turns out to be alive, has a special power, and uses it. This doesn't sound familiar in the slightest. We just watched it yesterday and we're like, oh, so it's Arrow and Batman.
Yeah.
But with Kung Fu. And
Fine.
and a shiny fist.
Yeah.
That's the name of your porn film. I don't care. And I'm keeping it in. Amazing. Right. But yeah, so yeah, it does sound worryingly familiar, but there's a lot to it. For one, Finn Jones, who didn't really get that much spotlight in Game of Thrones, obviously needs to be at the forefront for this, and looks really good doing it.
Yeah.
Fight sequences look wicked.
We're seeing a lot more martial arts in it as well, because
Yeah.
obviously he's a martial arts master.
Yeah.
The Iron Fist technique is...
Yeah, and it's
obviously.
him gaining his chi and just dropping falls.
And then we kind of see the Defenders come together.
Yeah, it was the whole pitch. Was it the Last Avenger? No, the final Defender. That was it. Because I loved it. It was the final Defender, and Captain America was the first Avenger. I was like, I see what you've done there. Somewhere Rosario Dawson turns up yet again to be the Agent Coulson of the Defenders.
Fine, I love her.
Yeah,
she's great.
Again, Luke Cage, the best element of it. One of the best elements of it. Interestingly, in the trailer, not in the trailer, but in the casting, I've seen that Misty Knight will turn up from Luke Cage and go into this, which is fitting because in the comic books she ends up as a love interest with Iron Fist. The more you know, kids. And also another. So far for Marvel villains, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, wicked. David Tennant as Kilgrave, wicked.
Amazing.
Now we've got David Wenham as Harold Meacham. Now David Wenham, for those that are a bit shaky on it, was Faramir in Lord of the Rings, so he looks to be the big bad in this.
Yeah.
Quite a difference from the comic book character that he's based on. This was a guy that in the comic books, I'm not going to get spoilers, so he's part of the reason Danny's ended up the way he is. In the comic books, old, decrepit, had to have his legs amputated fella looks to be alright in this.
Yeah.
Looks quite the opposite, but it'd be interesting to see how he does. I'm really excited for this, and I think, like we said previously, like the ball sort of was dropped with Luke Cage. Hopefully, Iron Fist can pick it up and get the pace going again. So when Defenders come around, you're actually excited for it.
Yeah.
It's also worth noting as well that John Bernthal's still like hammering away filming the Punisher series, so that's on the way as well. I'm
also very excited for that.
Yeah, massively. Because again, surprisingly wonderful job he did in Daredevil, to the point where you were like, man, just step aside for a bit because I'm gonna watch this dude for a bit longer if that's okay.
Can you just take a break?
Yeah,
go
just
sit
chill.
down.
Just chill. You look tired, mate. Yeah. Netflix, you are really spoiling us. You are the Ferrero Rocher of video on demand.
I mean, notable mention. Well, before we move on to the actual films we've seen, the romantic film of the year is John Wick.
Oh yes. John comes out. Previews come out on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with my significant other.
Yeah. So we're excited about that, and we needed to slip that in.
We've got to slip that in because it looks absolute balls. The reviews are coming out and saying, "My God, it's better than the first one." Which we cry heresy because that's not possible.
I mean, I can't think of a sequel that has ever I can't think.
Really?
I
can name like 10.
I can't.
Yeah. I got to educate you, man.
I can't think. But anyway, so that's a big shit.
Yeah.
If people are saying that, either they're delusional or there it is.
Yeah.
So, you know, very excited about that.
Massively excited. So is that next week? Will be next week. Yeah, Valentine's Day is next week.
Fucking
Remember, folks, Valentine's Day is next week. Future Nick, don't fuck this up. But yeah, really looking forward to it. We will move on to the films we have seen in their full length duration.
Yes.
You had the best pick, I think, this week.
I won.
Yeah.
I am the winner.
I am the winner. You got heads on the fucking coin toss. What did you go and see, Kai?
I went to see Lego Batman. Yay!
Was it good?
Oh, it was great. It was really, really good. It was really fast paced. It was witty. It was clever. It had jokes for kids, jokes for adults, jokes for comic book fans. It had so many, it was like Easter eggs just thrown at you.
Wasn't it a hunt? They were just there to be.
They were just there, and it was like the more astute or the more knowledgeable of the franchise would be like, great.
Now is this franchise of just Batman as a whole or the Lego movie? Because
Both.
what I wanted to ask. Well, first off, in terms of the story, so is it linked to the Lego movie in any way?
No, so it's not. There are some links. So, for example, there are
It's Lego.
It's Lego, but there are also the scenes where he is like a master builder. He will be like, right, I need to build something, and he does. So that attribute is there.
Cool.
But beyond that, it doesn't really kind of mention any other aspects of the Lego universe.
Okay.
It's purely set within Batman's
universe.
Yeah.
The DC universe.
Yeah.
Right.
And the extended DC universe as well. So there's talks about Superman and various other things as well.
Cool. So what happened? Give us a breakdown.
So the synopsis is Joker's up to his evil plans again, trying to blow up Gotham, and Batman goes off to stop him, captures the Joker, and there's this scene where it does the classic comic book scene of, you know, we're destined to do this, you and I. The forever locked in this dance, and Batman just kind of completely shuts him down, like, oh, I didn't know you feel that way. I mean, I'm kind of fighting other people as well. Like, I wouldn't say you're my arch nemesis. and you just Joker's face like turns to this like,
oh right.
And you see him heartbroken.
We need to see the people.
And there's this recurring joke about how they're destined to fight each other, and it's a massive play on how they're like fighting around and Batman being a loner and how he doesn't need anyone else.
Right.
So Joker in his upset kind of, he's butthurt about the fact that Batman rejected him as his one true enemy. And there's even things where like he's watching the TV and there's Superman on the news talking about him and his arch nemesis Zod, and how he put him in the Phantom Zone.
Right.
And he's like, look how Superman treats his arch nemesis. And it's a really interesting play on the Batman Joker relationship.
Right.
And it's then Batman, his journey on discovering that he maybe shouldn't be a loner.
Right.
And
so because Robin turns up.
Yeah. We've got Michael Cera as Robin, Zach Galifianakis as Joker,
right.
Rosario Dawson as Batgirl,
right.
and
fucking hell, she's in everything, that woman.
Babs Gordon, so she plays Commissioner Babs Gordon. You got Ralph Fiennes as Alfred.
What's he like?
Great,
Really?
he is really good. But the cast is just like, yep.
Keep going. This is working.
And it's just there's so many funny one-liners.
Right.
Like there's a scene where Batman's being introduced to Robin, or Robin's introducing him to Batman.
Yeah.
He's like interviewing him as an orphan, the ultimate orphan,
right.
as Robin calls him. He's like, I'm Richard Grayson, but the other kids at the orphan call me Dick. And Will Arnett just returns and goes, yeah, kids can be cruel.
I mean, the one thing, so you, in terms of Lego Movie and this, which is better? Like, is it better?
I don't know if it's, I wouldn't say it's necessarily better, but it works on more levels.
Okay.
Because it appeals to, it has that sense of silliness that the Lego Movie had, but it also has a lot of really, really well placed consistency with the DC universe.
Right. Okay.
So it is like watching it, you are like, this is a really great, Batman film.
Because the thing is as well, I think there's almost a bittersweet element to the fact that the one fucking good DC film we've had in years, and it's got Lego in it.
Yeah.
Like,
and do you know what? That's not. I don't. Okay, that is an issue because of all the other films, the higher budget, for their production value and what is physically going into them, you'd hope they were better.
Yeah.
But there is in no way an issue in enjoying this as a great Batman film.
Yeah.
And there's just, there's little bits where, so Alfred's talking about Batman's past and how he's always been a loner, and it literally just references every previous film that he's been in, and he's like, even though we're one in 1966, and it shows a clip of the original Batman movie.
That's amazing.
And then there's the bat shark repellent, and Robin picks it up and he's like, oh, what's this? He's like, oh, actually, yeah, you can have that. That's useless.
So basically, it sounds that it's acknowledging everything that Batman is, good, bad, but still
Silly,
keeping it. There's a reason he's so well known.
Yeah, and it plays on the whole character and how his isolation gets him into how he works alone and why that's an issue for him.
Cool.
And he has this development where he kind of realises that he needs a family. With Alfred as his surrogate father, his son as Dick Grayson or
the Bat family.
Yeah, and then you've got Barbara Gordon as Batgirl.
Now, in terms of so how it ends, could you see a sequel in this? Because already, there's a map out for the Lego films. Now, I've said, not on the podcast, but I'm very strongly for the idea that studios planning franchises is a fool's game, because when the first one's not even out of the park, what's the point?
Don't count your chickens before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't But so far, would you want to see another one of these?
I don't know if I'd want to see another Batman, specifically Batman.
Right.
I'd love to see these characters again.
Right. But in the Lego Movie 2 sort of thing.
Yeah, or see them touch on someone else and just have them in.
Would you like a Superman Lego movie? Would you?
Yeah, I'd be more interested in a Superman Lego movie because.
Well, you don't even like Superman.
Not really, no. But that's what I mean. These films have such charisma.
Yeah.
They're just genuinely fun to watch. You enjoy it through and through. When it's not kind of the chaos Lego, it's got some really, really great voice acting. Obviously, the characters are fantastic. Michael Cera is a fantastic Robin.
Really?
He's so peppy and so annoyingly chirpy.
Yeah.
And he's great. And he plays that kind of the moments of sadness. It's just like, because Will Arnett is horrible to him.
Right.
He's like, you're nimble and 110% expendable. And Robin's like, I don't know what that means, but yeah.
Brilliant.
And it just it is great, and there are so many little cameos of just silly things. In the Phantom Zone, the villains that get broken out of there, we've got Godzilla, the Daleks.
Right.
Is
it another? I mean, realistically, Lego own everything, so they just throw everything into the film.
And they can. There's none of that cross studios thing, so they can.
We've got it, so bye.
Yeah. They don't have any of that limited thing. Oh, sorry, we can't show that villain because we don't own the rights to him. It's Lego.
Fuck you.
No one else owns Lego.
Yeah.
So
build a Lego bridge and get over it.
Exactly, and you know what? It allows for that consistency to touch on all aspects of the universe.
Cool. Which
is nice. It's really good to see a fun DC film. I really, really enjoyed it. And they even land blows at the Suicide Squad films. Yeah, he's like, got a team of villains trying to save the day. That would never work.
Amazing. So far, so how it ends, you're happy with it. Out of 5, what would you give it?
4 out of 5.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think it's missing?
There are some bits where it's just. See, I wouldn't even give the Lego movie 5 out of 5.
Cool.
There are bits where it's just. Okay, you just. Come on.
Yeah.
You could have done something a bit more.
There's a few dips.
Yeah, but not in a way that you'd ever stop enjoying the film.
Right.
It's a fun film from start to end, but there are times where it just doesn't have
The pace drops just a little.
Yeah, or it's just throwing it at you, and you're like, whoa, come on, give me a moment. I want to enjoy these moments or something. But no, thoroughly enjoyable film. Really, really, really strongly recommend.
And it's got Kai's approval, so that's all you need. So
and it's Batman.
And it's Batman.
And it's Lego.
And it's Lego. That's solid enough. So that's how this week. I got myself moving on from a chirpy film to just a middling one, really. Was I went to a special screening Cineworld for Hidden Figures, which is couldn't make it because he went home sick because he's poorly.
I had a poorly tummy, I did.
So yeah, I went to see it, and I wasn't particularly excited for it, and I don't think I walked out any different, to be honest. But another Oscar contender for Best Film at the minute. Now, I've made it quite clear, if you haven't seen the previous podcast, that La La Land doesn't deserve the recommendation it gets. But that's a rant for a previous podcast. Nip back and come back to this one. La La Land doesn't get it, doesn't really deserve as much as it gets, I think. Hidden Figures is even more so.
Yeah.
So this is directed by Theodore Melfi and tells the true story of a small sort of group of African American women that during the 1960s were an integral part to the NASA space race between the US and Russia, and were completely overlooked. Like, the history books don't really have as much attention on them as they rightfully should. The film's lead has got Taraji P. Henson as sort of the mathematician that gets picked out of the bunch and put in a room with a bunch of old-fashioned, completely against just the like mixed relations of any sort, and sees this black woman come in who's smarter than every other man in the room and doesn't get the chance to sort of show it until she decides to just put her foot down and go, look, enough is enough. Now, annoyingly, I'll start off. Well, no, we'll start off with the positive. So she's backed by Janelle Monáe, who's in Moonlight. That comes out pretty soon. Really good film, and she's briefly in it, but she's great in this as well.
Yeah.
Who wants to be an engineer to design the rockets that are going to get the guys up there, and Octavia Spencer as Dorothy Vaughan, who is she's the head of the computer department that Taraji P. Henson's character is part of, but isn't getting the credit for it, essentially. So she's got Kirsten Dunst is in it, and she's sort of putting her foot down and going, we know you're doing a supervisor's job, but we can't afford to pay you for it, sort of thing. Or they're not willing to do it. Now, these three figures are all dealing in their own way with the sort of racial divide that dominated the 60s in America and shouldn't have, we're well aware of that.
Yeah.
Octavia Spencer at the minute has been nominated for Best Supporting Actress, and she deserves it, because throughout the film I was more interested in her character than I was Taraji P. Henson's.
Yeah.
Now, with that, you've got an issue, because whilst it's a great story, she's almost a caricature of the character she's playing. Like, she's this glasses straightening, there's a recurring thing where she can't use the toilet, she can't use the bathrooms in the building she's working at, so she has to do a 40-minute walk to go back to where she did work so she can use the coloured bathrooms. And it's it's a shocking element to a history that shouldn't have been the way it was, and thank God we've changed, but it's not executed as well as it should do, because
it doesn't quite have that gravitas or the depth.
You are were we really like this? Yeah. Is that a real thing that happened? And it shouldn't have. But Octavia Spencer and Janelle Monáe's character both have their own situations where they do encounter this, barrier because they are black, and you feel more for them. So, for example, Octavia Spencer, her character Dorothy Vaughan, tries to study up on the new computers that are coming in.
Yeah.
And she goes to a library, and they've got a section just for coloured people, coloured book, and it's just what is going, was this a thing that happened? So she has to go to this section, but the book she wants isn't there, so she ends up going to the white section, and they're like, you're not allowed to be here, and it's you're furious for her, and she has this reserved anger that eventually sort of snaps, and you can see it brewing, whereas with Taraji P. Henson's character, you don't see that.
Yeah.
So that when the lid does finally blow and she loses it in front of everyone, and you're not behind her as much because you haven't. it's
I haven't
almost
seen any veiled anger from her.
it's just not there. So it's like you don't connect with her as much. Like you connect with this horrible chapter in history and how it shouldn't have been, but you don't connect with her. And I think that's why there's a reason why Octavia Spencer's got nominated and Taraji P. Henson hasn't.
Would you say that the film would have been better had Octavia Spencer had a larger role?
I would. Well, this is it.
Or would she have been? Is she only so deserving of the credit because as a supporting role, or would she have been better as a leading role?
I think it wouldn't have made a difference because
to the overall film.
Not really. Say they'd swap focus on because they all end up taking a route that will become integral to NASA.
Yeah.
They're all playing a part that should have got highlighted and didn't, as in history overlooked it.
Yeah.
So they all have this arc, and you can see it, and it's it's an important film to watch, as with any sort of film that covers this area. Particularly by the end of it, when it comes to the space race and people are watching it on television, and it's everyone around the TV, there's no divides. It's there's a horrible moment where the guys they're sending up in space come and meet all the staff, and there's a sort of tracking shot of like going past this massive crowd of white people, and then there's like a 5-foot gap, and then all the rest of the staff are there that are all black, and you're like, this was actually a thing, this happened. And one great element to it, and I was so glad to see him in it, is Kevin Costner as sort of the top head of all the mathematicians that are trying to come up with these calculations. And he was, I mean, did you see Man of Steel? You saw Man of Steel?
No.
Did you not? Right.
No.
So he played Clark Kent's dad, and it was great to see him in a seasoned, old, like not mentor, but sort of grouchy old. I don't care what colour you are. Like we just need to get them up there.
The work is the work.
Yeah,
it doesn't
exactly.
matter who you are. This is what's important.
Yeah. So she finally snaps and says, "Look, this is why I'm late. This is why I have to go to the bathroom for 40 minutes. It takes me 40 minutes to get there and back." And his response is what you want, and it's a role that if it was a few years before, or had he was, I mean, I don't know how old he is now. He must be in his 60s or something. But if 30s, 20s at his age, it would have been Clint Eastwood, Tommy Lee Jones, like those just getting over the hill. And he's wicked. But his era has come and gone. He was an 80s guy, and he was an actor of that, and he went on to westerns and stuff like that. But to see him in a seasoned, old, I don't give a shit
character,
playing his age, really works wickedly. Soundtrack's wicked. Pharrell and Hans Zimmer. Best fucking combination you can imagine. Annoyingly, they've not been nominated for an Oscar.
That's a shame.
It is a shame. Like, it's a good soundtrack. It works.
Do you reckon it's because the film isn't getting enough recognition? That
Well,
the soundtrack's
coincidentally, it's now overtaken La La Land for nominations for stuff. I think I read this morning. It's overtaken La La Land in something, but it's a 3-star film. It's to take it.
Is there anything that could have made it a 4-star film?
I think a better lead. Like Taraji P. Henson just doesn't.
Falls a bit flat.
I'm just not.
You don't engage with the character.
She's like I say, she's a caricature. Like she doesn't feel like a solid character. She's very timid. She's very quiet, and to the point that when she does snap, you're like, well, where did that come from?
That doesn't sound like you.
No, not only that. It was like. So I was saying, like Octavia Spencer has this issue in the library, so you can see why she's annoyed. Janelle Monáe has a scenario where she wants to be an engineer, but the course she needs to take to become an engineer is in a school where only white people can go to. So she has that you can see it, and you can see it boiling in her. Like, what am I meant to do? Whereas Henson's she just hasn't got it. Where I'm like, there's an oomph, and you go, fucking hell, this must be so shit.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't connect. The story's really interesting.
Well, as it should be though.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that needs to be told, so it should be interesting, and it's kind of a bleak look at how things were, and that kind of fuck, we were so stupid.
Well, and not only that, and it's like holding a mirror up to current state of where it shouldn't matter what you look like or where you come from. If you can get the job done, just do it. Like,
at the end of the day, the results are more important than
exactly
who's doing it.
You know, you've got companies in America now that are saying we're against the sort of drawing the line at airports. Like, our staff do the job and do it well, so it shouldn't matter. And it's like, it's an issue in this. It's an issue of colour. It's the fact that at one point she can't go in a room because it's just full of men, so she can't even. You know, everything is not working out for her. But you're not behind her as much as you want to be. Another issue that I was a bit like, oh, they've sort of missed a trick there, or he's not as integral as I'd like him to be. Was named Mahershala Ali, who was Cottonmouth in Luke Cage.
Oh yeah.
And he's in Moonlight. He's been nominated. He's been nominated quite a bit for Moonlight, and he plays like a new guy who turns up and catches her eye, and they have form a relationship and stuff. And he's not in it as much as I'd like him to be. But it's just, like I say, it's a 3-star film. Like, La La Land's 4, and it, you know, doesn't deserve that much. This definitely, I just don't feel like it's been nominated for Best Film of the Year. I definitely wouldn't put it up there. It's good, it's okay, but it's just okay.
That's
and yeah, I feel like they have missed a trick. But yeah, that's what I saw this week. I think that comes out, I feel like next week, next Friday. Judge for yourself. You might enjoy it. Any sort of comments, feel free to drop them down the bottom. But yeah, leaving on a middling note, really.
Do you know what? I've got a nice heartwarming story actually that might.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice little thing. So, just plucked this one off the internet earlier.
you fucking rebel.
Yeah, I know. And not just because I love the Nintendo Switch, but I saw.
I'll be back in a bit.
No, so not actually the Switch related.
Right.
So a lifelong Zelda fan who was struck with a horrible degenerative disease.
Right.
Was going through this stage, and he realised that he might not live to see the release of this new game.
Right.
And after a
This is
Reddit,
Breath of the Wild, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
and after a Reddit post blew up about them trying to reach out to Nintendo actually flew him to their America headquarters.
That's amazing.
And gave him I think it was a half hour play on the unlaunched demo. So this was prior to the game going gold, so it wasn't even finished. So they let him play the unfinished game.
Okay.
They gave him a tour of the studio. They sent him home with loads of gifts for himself and his family. Cool. And then the night before the same day he passed, he was watching he showed his mum a trailer for the game, and he's like, look, that's the date it's going to be released, I'm going to make it. And his mum was just like, yeah, you are. And then like his brother said, he was like, it's going to be amazing, I'm going to play this game, and it's going to be like he's guiding me through it.
Oh,
he's
man,
going to be my
I'm not prepared for this. I was not prepared for this.
So, you know, fucking ace. That, like, really nice, and it's such a sad story, like, you know, rest in peace, man, but, like, the fact that game's going to mean so much to his family now, like, because of how he's involved in it, and that's really touching, like, to see games companies reach out to people like that. I know it's a good news story for them, but I mean, I found this like it wasn't well publicised. I only saw one mention of it, and I had to search for it to find it. But you know, really nice story. That's, you know, we need more things like that.
Definitely,
especially from a community that should be so strong. So yeah,
he's just an Ian Joe. Hey, do you know what I mean? Fuck it out.
There
I was not prepared for that. I'm going to go off and cry for a bit.
Yeah.
If you're doing the same, tell us. Just let it out, man. It's fine. Yeah. But thanks a lot for watching.
If you could subscribe.
Subscribe, do all the likings, all the subscribings, and drop us some comments down below. If you saw Lego Batman, let us know what you think. If you go and see Hidden Figures, let us know if you agree or disagree. And watch the Iron Fist trailer again. What would you recommend, trailer-wise, that you'd watch repeatedly just to take it all in? What are you excited about? Fast and Furious!
And John Wick, because just shooty.
Yeah.
Shooty.
We're going to go see it next Tuesday?
Yes.
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Valentine's Day is Tuesday. Nick, future Nick, Valentine's Day's Tuesday. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching.
You've been great. We've been great, obviously.
Obviously, standard. And we will see you next week for more film, game-related blather, where hopefully we won't become emotional wrecks by the end of it.
Let's hope not.
Bye.